Hello and welcome to another episode of Healing from the Mess with me, Lizzie. Oh, I got hair on my tongue. Today I just wanted to hop on and talk about parts of CPSD. C-PTSD. Yeah. I was watching a workshop yesterday, and it talked about some people either internalize their pain, so they take it out on themselves, or they take it out on other people. And I was somebody who thought that feeling angry was a very negative, bad emotion. So I would take out my anger on myself, which led to a lot of self-hatred, led to self-harm, led to very complicated relationships because I would do all these things and it always like I was doing more than the other person because I felt like I had to. And then I'd be mad, and then I realized, you can't expect everyone to have the same heart as you. So that was a big one for me to learn. But it really talked about how we grow up in an emotional, a lack of emotional support environment that we can end up being hyper aware. We have a fear of abandonment, fear of rejection. We don't know who we are because we weren't allowed to explore who we were. We weren't allowed to be ourselves. And it's crazy, how much of that, I think my ACE score is a 5. And it's I don't know, it's hard. It's painful. And the thing is, when they ask, on the, okay, so trigger warning, all right, they asked this question in the ACE score thing, when it comes to being sexually abused. And the first time I took the test, I answered that, of course, yeah, I had been, at a very young age. And now I don't know how to answer that question. For me, I moved away. I've been no contact for 6 months. And I just realized that I don't know what's true. I don't know how much of what she told me was the truth and how much was delusion. How much of it she wanted me to believe. You hear the snoring in the background. That's my old lady dog. So I don't know how to answer that question. I was told I don't remember. I would have been 2. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't remember. I just know the story. And that is really hard. That's my air conditioner. I apologize. So I don't know the truth. I don't know. And that makes it so much more difficult on me because I don't know how I'm ever going to know the truth about that. If I looked at it from a logical standpoint, I can see what I had one of my relatives explain to me, what they believe happened. And it was logically, that makes a lot of sense. It does. It just, if I go by logic, I'm 90% sure that nothing ever happened to me. But even if nothing ever happened, if she believed something did, and that's the thing though, That would have been the only time she protected me. Because she never protected me after that. And to be clear, like when they're overprotective, it doesn't mean they're protective. She did not want me to have relationships with anybody other than her. Didn't like when I had friends, didn't like when I hung out with my friends at their house, didn't approve of a lot of my friends. So she needed to be involved in everything. And she wanted to be my number one friend, and that was it. Like, she was the only one. So just because she was overprotective doesn't mean she was protective. So I just don't know how to say she protected me when she believed that happened, because there are so many other things that go into it, like her relationship with that person was very complicated. So I don't know. And I don't want to call her a liar, but she has lied to me about things you don't lie to your child about. I mean, she wanted me to hate my father. She wanted me to have zero relationship with him. And I don't know if it's because of her relationship with her own dad, if that's why, but it was very much so a jealousy thing where she wanted to be the only parent, and she, like, and it's hard for me because my oldest, his biological father, was just so inconsistent and didn't know how to make him a priority. And I fought for that relationship for 13 years of his life. I fought for it. And finally put my foot down and I said, this is the last time I'm telling you. You need to make a schedule, stick to the schedule. This has to happen. If something comes up and you can't make a phone call, make time to see him, whatever, let me know, because I can't read your mind. I don't know what's going on in your life, right? He really thought that I wouldn't step up and say something, that I would just let it slide again, because I had for 13 years. I understand that. I understand. But I was done. So I put my foot down. And I was very clear. And my husband, who has been a consistent part of my oldest son's life since he was 2, stepped up. And he adopted my son because his biological father finally agreed to sign away his rights. Now, the hardest part for me is that we were very clear that if he wanted a relationship with that boy, with our son, that all he had to do was reach out, call, text, whatever, we'll make it happen. So when I fought for the relationship, and my mom fought to end my relationship with my dad, fought to end my relationship with my stepfather, wanted to end my relationship with her now husband. I couldn't imagine doing that to my kids, because the first priority for me, right, is to maintain a relationship with these people, as much of for my kids, because that's important. She didn't want that at all. She wanted my dad to have nothing to do with us. And my dad fought for her to still be a part of our lives, even when she didn't deserve it. They're two different people. So I will never understand how she could do it, how she could lie about things, how she could lie about my dad, how she could talk she would just tell me so many horrible things that like when he started dating after they got divorced, she would either talk about it in front of me to her friends, like on the phone. She would have a whole full-blown phone conversation in front of me talking bad about my dad and his girlfriend, or she would talk to me personally, like one-on-one about my dad and his girlfriend. And that's not appropriate to do with a 10-year-old. When I told her, I think I sent the letter in August of last year, when I told her that I no longer wanted to hear any negative things about my dad, my ex-stepfather, and her husband, I didn't realize how much that hurt you. Really? You didn't think it would hurt me that you were saying horrible, mean things about people that I cared about, that you brought into my life? My dad was part of my life because he got you pregnant. You decided to have a relationship with my first stepfather. You decided to marry your now husband. You brought them into my life, into my children's lives. You really think that talking crap about them isn't going to hurt me? Since going no contact, and mind you, since moving away from her to now being no contact for only 6 months, which sometimes it feels like forever and sometimes it feels like yesterday, depends on how I'm feeling emotionally. My anxiety is reduced. I'm not hyper aware. I'm still aware of my surroundings, but I'm not hyper vigilant. I don't have panic attacks out of nowhere. All these things that would cripple me don't happen anymore. Like my depression. Like I said in the previous video, I used to have it from the start of fall to the start of spring for 6 long months. And I would only have maybe 5 days a month where I wasn't depressed. 5 days a month. I thought I had PMDD. Like I really did. I moved up here. And my first winter up here, I had depression. I had like severe depression symptoms for only 3 weeks during the entire start of fall to the start of spring. 3 weeks. And I actually got to enjoy winter. I have never gotten to enjoy winter. I don't remember the last time I got to look outside and see winter, see the snow falling, see the snow on the trees, and think, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I'm so thankful I get to live here and see this and experience this." This past winter was the first time I can remember not hating winter. Because I didn't hate it because it was cold. I mean, no one likes the cold. But I hate it because I wasn't me for 6 months. I was sad. I was depleted of energy. I had nothing to give. And food was the only comfort I had. I am no longer the version of me that I was a year ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago. Every day I'm getting stronger. Every day I am growing. Every day I am learning what I deserve and not accepting less. I have firm boundaries. And that's the thing. When I make new friends, my therapist told me, you set down your rules when you make new friends. And I only have 2 rules. That's it. 2. Don't lie to me and don't be a crappy human. That's it. Because I will never judge you. I will listen. I want to understand why you do what you do. I want to understand where you're coming from. If you want my advice, I'll give you my advice. If not, I'll just listen to you vent. But don't lie to me. And don't be a shitty person. That's all I ask. And I feel like that's very simple and it's very straightforward. I believe that everyone has good in them, but I do not believe that all people are good and have good intentions. I am so glad I can spot toxic behavior as quickly as I have been able to now. And why I don't stand for it anymore. I used to. I mean, my mom was the longest relationship I ever had. So by terminating that relationship, you would think it would have been really hard for me. It was easier than it was hard because I knew I started seeing like for 2 years how bad it was. So when I cut it off, I cut it off. And I'd slowly been kind of trying to inch away, and very slowly, because I knew if I did it dramatically, there'd be a big fight, big fallout. So when I moved and she really was against it, I just was like, well, I'm doing it. This is my life. It affects me and my children. It affects her in a indirect way, right? But it was time to move. And so I did. And then I had friendships where I started seeing it. And there was a friendship I had for like a few years. And I was like, you know what? I've caught you in this lie. I'm done. I actually said goodbye to them because I felt like it was the right thing to do because they had no idea that I caught on. So I said goodbye and walked away. And with my mom, I said goodbye because she didn't know that I caught on to her crap. She had no idea. So I let her know. I don't want anything from you. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want anything. Don't ever contact me again or my children. And then recently, now I knew this person for at least 4 years. I knew there was something wrong. But because of how long the friendship had been going on for, I had a really hard time walking away. And I had to remind myself that history, just because you have history with someone doesn't mean that they're supposed to, just because you have history shouldn't be a good enough reason to just stay, right? If it's bad for you. And it was bad for me. It would affect my mood. It would affect how I felt about myself. And I knew I needed to walk away, but I had a conversation first. I talked to them. I was like very straightforward about things, how I felt about certain things. And for a couple weeks, things were okay. And then they started falling back in old habits. And the worst thing was when I was told, hold me accountable. Tell me when you catch me, doing whatever. And it was like, that's not my job. Like with my children, I'm raising them to be adult human beings. I have a reason to do that. Hey, when this isn't okay, come on, like hold them accountable so they can hold themselves accountable in the future. I don't need to tell it to a grown adult. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. If you did something that hurt me, I would, hey, I've told you I don't like when you do that, when you say that to me. Please don't say that to me. It's different from holding them accountable for their own actions that they do subconsciously on purpose. And when it happened, when they did the thing, and I knew that they were purposely doing it, I needed to walk away. And I did. I removed myself completely without a word. Just, I'm gone. I'm done. See you later. And just gone. Disappeared. Ghost. Because I'd already said that I wouldn't accept it. And I wouldn't tolerate it. And it was done again. And it had been done. It was here and there a little bit. And I was like, whatever, roll my eyes, move on like I always do. But not that time. And the next day I watched a tarot reading, and it talked about that it was time to like walk away and let go of something that wasn't good, wasn't healthy, was toxic. And I did that thing the day before. And I was like, you know what? You're on point, dude. Does it hurt? Yeah. It does. I hate it. I'm not good at walking away from things, especially people I care about. But I had nothing left to give this person. I had done everything I could. I tried my best. I tried to offer advice. I tried just being an ear. I've tried just being a friend, and none of it mattered. They weren't going to change. And so I had to make a change. So if there's someone in your life that you are thinking about walking away from, that you know isn't good for you, but you have history and there's all these memories, you can take those memories with you. Okay, it's okay. And you can still look at the good times and the good things. And when you walk away, you're going to see how your life improves without that person. It doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a human being who is trying to do what's best for them. And maybe it's for the first time. Be gentle with yourself. Forgive yourself. And remind yourself that you deserve to be treated with respect, and that you are enough just as you are. Thank you for listening to this episode, and I hope you join me next time for another episode of Healing from the Mess with me, your host, Lizzie.